guys, Ashley from Mosko Moto here. We rode some single track in yesterday in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest on these dirt bikes with Reckless 40s on them. There are 4 of us out here riding. There's no other way really to get to this awesome little lake that we found to camp at other than, you know, hiking or riding single track in. So it was a pretty awesome experience for us, and we kind of wanted to go over with you guys what we've packed in our kits. We all packed a little bit differently. Pete and I have one kind of kit between the 2 of us because we've split up tools and food and things like that. So we'll go over sort of in depth what each of us have. And I'll start here with a Pico tank bag, which is a new product coming out in about 5 weeks or so for us. So inside the tank bag, there's a little sleeve that I'm carrying my cell phone in for easy access during the day. I've just got like some sunblock, chapstick, a little Leatherman tool, a couple of face wipes, sunglasses, and that's about it. I do have a snack in here, but I guess I ate it yesterday, so I'll put a new one in there before we start riding again. Next, I'll kind of go over my hydration pack. I was debating whether or not to bring a larger backpack, but I decided on this pack, which is a bit smaller on the back and has a 2.5 liter hydration reservoir inside. So this is an Osprey Pack. And inside of my pack, I've got my inReach in case I do go flying off the bike. This is so important. We've talked about this on a multitude of different occasions, why we carry these, but just really important, especially when riding single track out here. I've got this here just in case we get a flat. A little bit of money, not that there's anything to spend money on out here in the forest, and a snack. And that's it. I don't really have a lot in my backpack. I mean, I think yesterday when I got hot, I like stuffed my jersey in here and I had some peanuts, but I've eaten those, so.
You said that's a 2.5 liter?
Yeah, 2.5 liter hydration reservoir. I had a 3 liter that I was going to bring, and I was kind of like wavering back and forth, but I figured we were going to find water, so I'd be able to filter some water, and I just didn't want as much weight on my back, and it turned out to be just about the right amount. Okay, so now for those of you that aren't really familiar with the kit, the Reckless 40 has a goggle pocket that's sewn on the back, and then there are 2 little 2 liter sewn stuff pockets on the back as well. So back there I'm carrying my fuel bottles. I did carry extra fuel on this trip. I'm riding a 2-stroke. It's a TM 144. Shout out really quick to Brian Geddes. Thanks Brian for loaning me the bike. I'm testing out this awesome little 144 and it's turned out to be like the perfect bike for me. It's set up just right. So on the bike, we've got 2 leg bags here that have a clear panel, and then so inside of those, I'll just kind of go over what I've got in each side. One side, I have sort of my like camping kit for the most part, along with my toiletries and things. So I have this little like really awesome stuffable BDR cup. It's a silicone cup, and I've just put some electrolyte tablets in there, my spork. Here is my Thermarest pad. It's actually not Thermarest brand, I'm sorry. This is a Nemo Air Tensor. It packs down really small as you can see, and it's actually quite comfortable and insulated. A little spendy on these, but I think totally worth the cost. I have this Rumple pillow that packs down quite nice, and it is just a total luxury, but I did manage to fit it in the kit anyway. Here are my toiletries. This is Kit Cube by Overland Adventure. I really love these because they have a clear panel and I hang it from my bike at night, so then I can just easily get into my toiletries and not have to get down on the ground for everything. Kindle, always necessary for me when traveling, especially spending the evening time in the tent. Get a little bit of reading in. And then in my goggle pocket, since I'm riding with goggles, I'm putting things that I want really quick access to. So I've got some energy bars, Gerber multi-tool, and my headlamp, just so that I don't have to go rifling through the bag for those things, and TP for the obvious. So that's kind of one side of my pannier. Actually, I also have a tube, a front tube, in that one pannier side. So that takes up one whole leg bag. The Stinger 8, which is the tail bag that goes on the back, can be mounted as a standalone tail bag, but of course we're running it in the full system for this trip. I've got all of our food in here, so I'm carrying food for both Pete and I. I kind of prepared food ahead of time for this trip because we decided not to bring a camping stove at all. So I did some like breakfast burritos with egg and some meat and a little bit of cheese, and those turned out to be really delicious. And then for lunch I did kind of some like fresh vegetable wraps with avocado. Also really, really good and nice, easy, no preparation involved. So that pretty much takes up my entire Stinger 8. I don't think I have anything else in here. I'm just gonna double check. No, I've got like, you know, just some condiments and a couple of snacks in here, and that's it. So all the food back there. And the reason that I put the food on the back is so that if I crash, which does happen, I don't squash all the food. In the other side, I've got a little bit of clothing. So for this trip, I stayed in my moto clothes almost the entire time. I didn't really change into anything else. I've got a puffy jacket for the evening time when it gets nice and cool. I've got a rain and wind layer that packs down really nice and small. This is Arc'teryx. Beanie, pair of long johns, change of socks. That's really important for me because my feet get wet from sweating all day. So I want to take those off and put another pair on. And then my sleeping bag, it looks nice and huge and lofty right now, but it's not stuffed down. So when I stuff it down, it takes up about 3/4 of the pannier, and then all the rest of this clothing goes in that same pannier. So for me, that's about it. Yeah, Pete, your turn.
All right, let's try it.
Okay, so this is what I brought. I'm using the same kit that Ashley is, a Reckless 40. And as she mentioned, our kits are kind of combined, so between the two of us, we're carrying enough stuff for 2 people. Starting with my hydration pack here, I've got a 3-liter reservoir in there, which is just about right for one day, and then we have a water filter to fill it up at night. I've got my InReach, I've got my Kindle, my toothbrush, an extra battery pack for recharging accessories, a headlamp, a tow rope, and some tools, mosquito repellent, and toilet paper. That's all in my backpack. I moved the tools from the back of the bike up into my backpack just because to get the weight off the back of the bike. There's already a lot of weight back there, and I noticed it, so I decided I'd rather have it on my back. In one of the leg bags, I'm able to fit my sleeping bag, which is a 15-degree Marmot helium bag, and my thermarest, which is a Neo Air Trekker, and then also this little kind of soft pillowcase thing that I stuff some clothes in and use as a pillow. In the other leg bag, I've got a 2-person tent because Ashley and I are traveling together. She's got the food, I've got the tent. This is the Msr Hubba Hubba hub tent, and I get the poles, the rain fly, and the main body of the tent all in one of the leg bags. And then I've also got this puffy jacket and a stuff sack here. It's pretty chilly here at night, so I wanted to bring a nice warm puffy. And I've got these Baffin slippers, so I have something to change into when I take my moto boots off. Then in the Stinger 8, I've got our water filter. This is the Msr gravity feed water filter. These things are great because you can fill it up with water from the lake here and just let it filter. You don't have to sit there and pump it or anything like that, so you can just forget about it and come back over and your hydration reservoir is full. I've got a pair of long underwear. I've got a rain jacket anorak in case we get wet weather. And then I've got a fishing reel and some fishing supplies. We were gonna fashion our own fishing rods. Andrew could talk more about that, but we didn't end up doing it because there's no fish in this little lake. And then I've got a little titanium pot for boiling water and a little titanium cup to go along with it. I've got 4 Msr Fuel Bottles, so I carried a gallon of extra gas. I put 2 in the molly pouches on the front legs of on the front of the legs of the Reckless 40, and then 2 in the rear pockets on the back. So the weight is totally spread out and low on the bike. And then as soon as I started burning gas, I started replacing it. So I wasn't carrying that gallon of extra gas. It took between taking the tools off the back and the gas off the back, I cut the weight in half, which was really nice, and I definitely noticed a difference in the handling of the bike after that. Let's see, up here on the bike itself, I've got a little knife for food prep, and in my Pico, I've got almost nothing in there right now, but I'm using it for a battery pack and Leatherman, and also my truck keys and a few other little things like that, a couple snacks. And I've got more snacks stashed in the back in the Goggle Pocket on the Reckless 40. So that's it for me.
Awesome. Andrew?
All right. Let's see, I've got little camp shoes over here. And this is sort of my toolkit type stuff here. And we're all we had to pack so light because we're camping out of the Reckless 40s that we just kind of split up the toolkit. There's just no way you can really carry a full toolkit on one bike. These Volet hardwire straps are totally indispensable. And then of course zip ties for the lighter stuff. But these things are good as a first aid tool if you need to splint a leg, but also for fixing a bag strap that might break or even part of your bike. Of course a Leatherman and fire starting tool. This is a cool little thing. Somebody made this for us. Really works. Headlamp, flask, and those are all my clothes right there. I had to keep it pretty light. I'm just camping in my moto pants, and I just didn't really have the room to bring a pair of jeans or anything like that. And I went with for cooking, I went with the jet boil and some freeze-dried food. I really like that, and then you can do coffee and stuff like that. And this is the my lunch program is just pre-made PBJs and some hard-boiled eggs, 2 hard-boiled eggs and a PBJ a day, a beer which I drank last night, and MSR one-man tent, which I actually break up into its components and shove it in different parts of the leg bags. This Marmot, I think it's a helium. This bag is so great, it's so warm, and it goes really small. It can go even smaller than this, but this just slides right in the bottom of the leg bag. And then a thermarest, a really nice small thermarest. Which one is this?
I think that's the Neo Air.
The Neo Air, yeah. So it's not even packed very tight. It goes really nice and small, which is totally essential for an R40 camping trip. And then like Pete said, we brought fishing gear. And so this is what I bring for fishing gear when I don't have room for the rod. I was gonna bring a rod and I just could not figure out how to get it on a dirt bike properly. Maybe there's a way, but so I brought my old reel, which has been through a lot, but if I broke this, I wouldn't really be too sad about it. And I brought a little bit of wire for making eyelets, a little bit of tackle, mixed tackle box. And then the plan is to, if you do come to a lake or a creek that has fish in it, you just go get a nice branch that just tapers really nicely to the end. It's kind of thick at the base and then has a nice taper, and you just make eyelets with that. This in combination with some zip ties, and then you zip tie the reel on, and you can actually make a pretty decent rod. And I've pulled trout out of lakes that way before, and it means you just don't have to carry the rod, which is the most breakable part. It would be real. I would have broken it yesterday, I think. I went down a few times. And then I don't normally, oh yeah, here's my gas. So these things, this is for the bike, obviously, not for the stove, because that has its own gas. These go right in the rear pockets. And I don't normally ride with a backpack. I try to put everything in my bag, but you kind of have to with this system. This carries my water and just a couple other little things, the day's food and stuff like that. And then Pete was carrying the water filter, which is nice when you're traveling in a group, is you can just split everything up. So I only rode with 2 liters of water, and that's all I needed all day yesterday. And then I just had a big drink last night when we filtered water. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Cool. Alistair?
Alright. So I'll go through my backpack first. The Kind Drafter Pack, 2-liter reservoir in there, which burned through yesterday and then refilled it today from Pete's, from the lake, and then from Pete's filter. Windbreaker in there, super small. Then I have a waterproof shell over there too. Spare gloves, kind of an assortment of tools. Usually carry a few more tools, but we kind of split it up with the group. Zip ties, special electrical tape, handy for taping up your nipples if you get a little chafe there, or any little accoutrements on the bike. Fuel line if you need to siphon off easily. Long screwdriver for fiddling with suspension, hand pump. The kind tie down that it's kind of multi-use. I use it if I need to tow somebody, or if you need to haul somebody's bike that's gone off the edge up here in the Gifford. There's some steep areas, can be an extra area to help out. Little heat pad thing if it was to get cold. Head torch, spot satellite tracker, and then a bivvy, waterproof, windproof, full kind of sleeping bag style bivvy. First aid kit, fire, a little fire starter, little wood shavings in there that go up really nicely, and a lighter. And that's my pack. Going into the Reckless 40 fuel, carried 2 MSRs in the rear leg bags there. I'm on a stock tank on a KX250F, fuel injected 2012. Put those in as soon as I could yesterday to get the weight forward, and then I have about 3/4 of a tank left. We did 47 miles, is that right? Yesterday, yep, 47 miles. So I've done 85 miles on that tank to run dry, riding in Steens Mountains area and Alvord area, so further than I thought it would go. Moving into what I carry in the Stinger up top, waterproof shell, food, snacks, bars, hammer, tea and coffee for the morning. Lunch, I made a sandwich for yesterday, and this is my sandwich for today, turkey. Dinner last night, I brought some Thai food, green curry, ready to go, easy to eat with the fork. Then I had a pre-made burrito that I put on the fire this morning. And then carrying in the rear little Goggle Pocket pouch of the Reckless, I have phone, and I keep it in this little goggle wipe Smith thing, lippy, Gerber knife, hammer gel, and I'll keep maybe add a couple more to there, paper map, if I end up losing out power on there. And then moving into the main leg bag area, I have a phone battery charger, which will do my phone 2-3 times. A few little fun entertainment things, a little pan with some Candyland in it, a little hip flask, super thin, lightweight, fork, metal cup, TP, which is also handy for lighting the fire as well in the morning, toothbrush, toothpaste, tire irons, and then I like to carry this extra water bottle as well. You can put like hammer and little drops in it for helping out with dehydration. And then kind of mixed in with this in the main leg bags, a one-man MSR tent. It's the Hubba MNX. Separate the poles and slip the legs down. Put them on the outside, but these guys have had them in the inside. And then I have a sleeping mat, which is the Thermarest Neo Air, super small. Marmot 40-degree sleeping bag, and then, which is not, down here we thought maybe it was going to get a little colder. Last night was pretty warm, but I did bring a few kind of things just in case it got cold, because it's not a four-season bag. ML beanie, and then these wool long johns and a wool shirt, small white, and then some kind of Patagonia camp pants. Flip-flops for the camp, not the best, but it was anything that I had that was kind of small and packable. Puffy, and then a little pillowcase that I'll stuff a bunch of my extra things into to make a homemade pillow, things that I'm not wearing. And then that all goes down into a stuff sack a lot of this goes down into a stuff sack just to compress it all out. Yeah, and that all goes in beautifully into the back of the Reckless 40.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah.